Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Financepreneur podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to help entrepreneurs become financially lit so that we can build big business. Y'all, has Corona given anyone else cabin fever? Okay, people are doing self-quarantines, jobs are saying don't come back in, work from home, we'll call you if we need you, keep your emails open and on standby. All right, so I started thinking, my life hasn't really changed too much because I kind of work from home or remotely anyway, but my sisters and my niece are home and I'm starting to see them more and see other people who I usually don't see, and they are really having trouble with cabin fever, okay? So I want to know, who else is suffering from cabin fever right now? Who else needs a break or doesn't really know what to do with all their energy while they're cooped up in the house? So I said, this is 3 things that you can do to actually maximize being self-quarantined. So as entrepreneurs, we always want to make sure that we are at the cutting edge of whatever is going on, right? And so I personally believe that in order to be at the cutting edge of anything, before we start talking about technology, we have to talk about our mindset, our personal development, and growth. Because really, you can't be a boss if you haven't figured out how to manage your own life, right? How to manage your mind. And so step number 1, or the first thing that I would say that you should do is read a book, okay? I find it very hard to believe when I hear people say, I want to be my own boss, I want to be in business, nobody in my family has ever done it before, I don't know what to do, but they've never read a book on business a day in their life. They've never read a book on finances as to learn how do you handle your money as an entrepreneur. And so this isn't a dig to anyone, this is actually to encourage you that while you have the downtime, read a book. Because most people feel like they can't read because they don't have the time. But in all actuality, we all have the time, right? Millionaires, they read a minimum of 2 to 4 books like a month. They're getting like a book a weekend. Right? So success leaves clues. If they're reading, what should we be doing? Reading, right? Because when you read someone else's information, you learn their struggles, you learn what helped them, the mindsets they have, and so you're able to borrow someone else's knowledge so that you can go further faster. You know, I'm a really big believer on that you learn from someone else. People say that experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience, right? I can learn from something that someone else went through. And so that allows us to be able to implement things that we don't really have the direct knowledge of, but to glean from someone else. So the first thing is read a book. Pick up a book that will help you in your business. I am not talking about a fiction book, okay? While that's good too, that's not what I'm talking about. Go get Think and Grow Rich. Go get the 4-Hour Work Week. Go get Atomic Habits. Go get the 10X Rule. There are so many good books that you can read. All right, so let me know what book you're reading. Drop it in the comments. Number 2, the next thing you can do is take a master class or course. All right, you have nothing but time on your hands right now. Use that time to educate yourself. This education has changed, y'all. People aren't like going to 4-year colleges like they used to. They're doing self-education by everyday people who have learned how to break into their industry. And they're taking their knowledge, and y'all see these ads all the time for master classes. And listen, I'm a junkie. I take, on a slow week, I take at least 1 course. Why? Because I want to learn from someone else. I want them right there on my computer screen or on my phone telling me exactly what to do. Step 1, step 2, guiding me along the way, right? They'll create a path for you. And so that's the next thing you can do. Now, there are some free master classes out there. It just depends on what it is that you're looking for. Some of them are going to cost, and they can go anywhere from like $19 up into the thousands, right? So you have to be realistic with your budget and figure out what it is that you can afford to do. But if nothing else, hop on a free webinar, okay? Hop on a free webinar and just hear what people are talking about. Hear the language, hear the dialect, know certain words that take place in the industry, and you will not regret it. It'll be time very well spent. Okay, so the last thing that I want to say, number 3, would be to get with your mentor. Okay, get with your mentor, get with a coach, get with a consultant. Take this time to really lay out where you are in your business, where you want to go, what you're doing, what your hangups are, where your strong points are, right? Really assess where you are with somebody who can help you. Now, I do know that that one-on-one time is not always cost friendly, right? Because you're paying for someone's time, you're paying for their knowledge. I get that. So if that's something that you can't do exactly what you're doing now. Go find a podcast, go find somebody on YouTube, and go on their channel and find out who's talking about the things that you need to know more about. Who's giving the encouragement, who's giving the mindset tricks, okay? So don't ever let money stand in the way of what it is that you need. So I named 3 things: read a book, take a masterclass or e-course, and get coaching. Honestly, you can find all of those for free. So if money is an issue, I just relieved you from it. Go on YouTube. There's an audio book somewhere for something, okay? I have listened to plenty of free audiobooks. Audible, if you don't have a membership, the first 30 days is free. Just make sure that you unsubscribe because they will debit your account. I know from experience. So do those things, right? Take the free masterclass, all right? It costs you nothing. Take the free masterclass. And they're gonna send you emails afterwards because they want you to buy into it, but at least you got walked away with some more knowledge that you didn't have before. And lastly, get with a mentor, right? Get with someone. There's so many great mentors who are giving out free information on YouTube, on podcasts, on interviews. Find out where they are and be in their space. So don't let cabin fever get you down. Let me know what you're doing to keep your head up, to keep your energy up during this time where we're self-quarantined. And let us know. Y'all join me on the next episode. Every Monday, we're dropping, okay? Y'all, we're on Apple now, Overcast, Spotify, YouTube. We everywhere. We dominating. Y'all stay lit.